Dr. Joe's Math Tools. In our session today, we are converting decimals into degrees, and this is part 3 on converting a decimal in the tens place into degrees. So in our last video on converting decimal numbers in the tens place into degrees, we converted our number into degrees by simply multiplying our 7.3 times our 360 degrees. But today we're going to be looking at this number a little different in terms of converting that decimal number into degrees. Now here's what I want you to remember when you're converting this decimal number into degrees. Remember that 7 and 3/10 simply means that 7 is being added to 0.3. Now, this is an alternative method that you can use to convert this decimal number into degrees, but remember that either method you decide to use, you will still arrive at the same answer. So what I'm going to now do is I'm going to take my 7 wholes and I'm going to multiply that to 360 degrees. So I'm going to find out what is 7 wholes times 360 degrees and how much that 7 wholes by itself actually equals to. So 7 times 0 is 7 is 0. 7 times 6 will give us 42. We'll put our 2, carry our 4. And 7 times 3 is 21 plus 4 will give us 25. So we know that 7 times 360 degrees will equal to 2,520 degrees. And now we're going to find out what is our 0.3 times our 360 degrees. So that's our next step. So we're going to take 360 degrees and multiply it to 0.3. So 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 6 is 18. We'll put our 8, carry the 1. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 will give us 10. And we know that everything times 0 will equal to 0. So we're not going to go through that step in this video. So now I'm going to go back and input my decimal point, remembering that 360 has no degrees behind the decimal point. 0.3 has 1 digit behind the decimal point. So in total, we should have 1 digit behind our decimal point. So we'll count 1, input our decimal point, and 0.3 in degrees will equal to 108 degrees. So now that my 7 wholes have been converted to degrees, and also my 0.3 has been converted to degrees, we're now going to add these two numbers together to see what is the full amount or the total of our 7.3 in degrees. So 0.8 is 8, 2 plus 0 is 2, 5 plus 1 will give us 6, and we're going to bring down our 2. So in degrees, our 7.3 is equal to 2,628 degrees. And if you saw my first video on where we multiplied 7.3 as a whole to 360 degrees, we got this exact same answer. So like I said, these are just alternative methods that you can use, but overall, use the method that works best for you. And now we're going to be doing the exact same thing with our 3.1 or our 3 and 1/10. Remembering that my 3 and 1/10 means that I have 3 wholes being added to 0.1/10. And we're going to begin again by multiplying our 3 times our 360 degrees. So 360 degrees times 3. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 6 is 18, and we just multiplied this one. So this is an answer we should be somewhat familiar with from the last session and also in our previous calculation. So 3 is equal to 1,080 degrees. And now we're going to do the exact same thing with our 0.1 times 360 degrees. So we have 360 degrees times our 1/10. 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 6 is 6, and 1 times 3 is 3. And again, we're not going to multiply the 0 because everything times 0 will be 0. So we're going to skip that step and just go straight to inputting our decimal points. So 360 has 0 digits behind the decimal point. 1/10 has 1 digit behind the decimal point. So in total, we should have 1 digit behind the decimal point. So we'll count 1 and input our decimal point, and 1/10 in degrees is 36 degrees. So now that we've converted both parts of our 3 and 1/10 into degrees, we're now going to sum these individual degrees up to get one total on our entire decimal number. So 0.0 plus 6 is equal to 6. 8 plus 3 is equal to 11. We put our 1, carry the 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. And we're going to bring down our last 1. So in degrees, 3 and 1/10 is equal to 1116 degrees. Okay, so I hope that this video is very helpful for you. And again, remember that this is just an alternative method for converting your decimal number into degrees. But overall, whichever method works best for you is the one that I recommend that you utilize. Remember, it's all about just expanding our knowledge on what we know about these numbers and how we can use them in different ways to convert them from one to the other. Okay, so remember to give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And until next time, this is Jules Math Tools, where math is made easy.